feel free to send your questions on the left-hand side. This is the space where we are receiving your questions. While waiting the attendees to type in their questions, I will take the first question, which is based on the enrollment form. In your experience, Mchich, what are the best ways of engaging multi-stakeholders, let's say stakeholders from various sectors in the FLR? You mentioned some means, but can you be more specific maybe? What you found was most efficient? Thank you. Just remember to unmute your microphone. Thanks.
Okay, thank you for this question. Well, I think the best way is to keep stakeholders motivated to participate. So by motivation, there is an economical motivation. For example, if restoration can bring opportunity to work, for example, for hole digging, that can be a motivation to see a restoration as a source of economic means. But also we can motivate stakeholders by, for example, by bringing them or giving them a certificate of participation, symbolic prices, acknowledgements in internet, for example, or such ways. So the question is to understand why people should participate in a process that is a long-term process. So this is the question to keep them interested and motivated to do something. That's it.
Yeah, the time aspect creates a much more complication there, of course. Now I see Carolina and Faustin have been choosing the nice questions from the participants. Can you just tell us whose land, who owned the land where the trees were planted? Was it a public forest land or what was the land type there? Ownership?
Yeah, exactly. It was a public forest land. First, because it is a collective process, it is a collective effort. So if you opt for a private land, maybe some people may participate, other not. For this was a forest restoration. So for one hand, we wanted to use let's say a public land. And the other reason is to ensure the sustainability or the continuity of the restoration. For example, if we opted, for example, if we have opted for a private land and the proprietor of the land change his opinion, and after 1 year, for example, he decides to destroy or to change the vocation of his land, which means if he decides, for example, to change a forest by agricultural use, so we will lose this effort, our restoration effort. So basically, that was the reason.
Yeah, right. Okay, thank you for that. As is an understandable reason, of course. Then we go for the next question here. There's a little bit of explanation before. Restoration often means for farmers or the rural population that they need to give up short-term benefits of natural resources, or they need to see the short-term benefits of restoration in order to be motivated. For example, a combination of money or being convinced as a motivation. So what were the main problems that you perceived in this project or another project of the applied mechanism to motivate the farmers?
Yeah, I agree perfectly with you, but there is two phases to this question. First, you should give something to farmers. For example, in our project, I didn't comment it, but we distributed the agricultural plant, olive, in fact, to such help to farmers to develop their agricultural use. So, which means that in a more integrated project, you can opt for the two things. So, forest restoration together with agricultural plantation or agricultural project. But still, we have to keep in mind that forest restoration is good for the farmers themselves, in the sense if we restore, for example, degraded lands at a medium or long term, it will protect soil, and of course it will protect and conserve the agricultural plots, agricultural soils. So this is not a direct benefit to them, but it is a medium or long-term benefit. In other terms, we have, you should work to change the mentality of the farmers. So do not repeat the same message. I need a benefit, I need a direct benefit. Yes, it's okay, but still you should be aware that the not restoring the area means also economic loss to your soil fertility and so on.
Yes. That again, we're dealing with the longer time frames here, and that's the question, of course, here as well. I think we could keep the one question we have here on the list, and I see a lot of questions coming, but we need to move forward for the next presentation. Thank you, Mchich, for these insights. We hear next from Manuel, and all the participants, don't worry, these questions will be saved, and we'll get back to them in the next part, in the next question and answers part. Thank you.
Thank you.